What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about on a daily basis, including money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, and stimulus check update. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And don't forget to hit the like button for us down below. We have lots of states right now that are already passing new either stimulus checks, stimulus packages, or tax relief, lowering taxes for you, or gas taxes. We have new updates for you guys. I'm going to give you guys the latest details on this, as well as what's going on here on the federal level. Brand new information coming out here for multiple different states here that could be putting money in your pocket. And there's a lot going on here because of the price of gas, because of the price of inflation, the price of bread, the price of eggs, the price of pretty much everything. And because of a couple other things, because of one, it's a election year for the House, the Senate, and most state governors and state legislatures as well. And also because almost every single state, if not every single state, is flush with cash. So, because they got a lot of money from the third stimulus check package, each state pretty much got billions of dollars from the last stimulus check package passed last year underneath President Biden and from the Democrats. So, they have money that they have to spend. They have certain restrictions on how to spend it. They can't just go spend it at the at the casino. They have to spend it basically in certain ways under certain restrictions, and states mostly got it at the end of last year, so they're now spending it here in 2022 and considering how to do that. A lot of states are considering stimulus checks and reprieving gas taxes, lowering gas taxes, and lowering taxes. And I've been keeping you up to date here on all this. And we have several new things here for you guys. Let's jump right in. Check this out. Okay, number one, the state of New York is following California's lead and proposing a $250, what they're calling a gas stimulus check or gas check for New York residents. Now, it doesn't need to be spent on gas. This is where a lot of people get confused. It's just a check. You can spend it on rent, you could spend it on groceries, you could spend it on anything. Where it's getting a little confusing is whether or not states, the federal government is proposing this as well. We actually have several different proposals. One from a Congressman Josh Harder for a $500 federal stimulus check, which would be $1,000 for married couples. And we also have another, so again, $500 stimulus check, they call it gas relief check. Again, this is similar to the California one where they would go off of whether or not you own a car. So a car registration, as opposed to previously where they went off of technically they went off of tax returns, whether or not you made less than $75,000. And in the case of the federal tax returns, they use the non-filers tool as well. California, so this is for the federal. There's a lot to go over here, so I'll try to explain it the best I can. This is for the federal, basically the nation, the whole country. There's a couple different proposals here. Number one, Representative Josh Harder announces a $500 federal check. You don't have to use it on gas. And $1,000 for a married couple because there's two people. As you can see here, Democrats pushing for $300 per month stimulus checks to help Americans struggling to pay for sky-high gas prices. Now, per month stimulus checks could actually add up to more. We actually have some really interesting stuff that Nancy Pelosi just said I'll probably cover that in the next video. That's going to be a really good video here later today. So don't miss out on that video as well, because I want to cover a lot of this stuff here in this video. Um, but there could be a full stimulus check, more like $1,400 or $2,000. As well, as opposed to monthly checks. I'm not sure if monthly checks of, say, $300 a month or a full stimulus check of $1,400 or $2,000 would be better. You could let me know your thoughts. Now, whether or not they go based on having a car registration or going off a tax return, making less than $75,000 like they did for the regular stimulus checks, is yet to be determined. Now, the reason for this is because California's proposal, their most recent proposal, is because their proposal was to go off because of gas prices, is for people who own a car, people who own a car. And it's also to kind of quell the naysayers a little bit, because it's not necessarily a quote stimulus check. It's an anti-inflation, it's an anti-gas price check. So they're going to give it to people who own cars. So it's not really a stimulus check, even though it is. I know we're splitting hairs here, right? But California wants to give out $400 checks per person, $800 to married couples, or $800 to, if you have a mother and a father, or a grandma and a grandpa in a household, $800 per household. To, if you have two cars in a household, to Californians. Okay. And they're going to go off, probably, if it passes. It hasn't passed yet. But California passed stimulus checks last year to 27 million people. Last year was $600 and $500 extra if you have kids. But they could have another check this year, experts are saying, because they have so much money. They have $45+ billion. Okay. Uh, and this is only going to cost around $11 billion. So they could have even another check this year as well. So stay tuned for that. New York is now catching on, like a lot of other states are catching on here, because all these states just have so much money right now, because they got a lot of money from the last stimulus package, and their tax revenues just are unexpectedly high. Unexpectedly high because the economy caught up quicker than normal because of the pandemic, and everybody's going back to work now, and inflation is catching up, which means the economy is catching up. A lot of people don't realize that with inflation. Inflation's going up because economy is going up as well. A lot of people don't kind of relate that two and two. But New York is also proposing a $250 stimulus check. Again, gas check. You don't have to spend it on gas. You could spend it on food. You could spend it on rent. You could spend it on anything. Or $500 for a married couple, or two adults, basically. You can see here, a state senator is proposing to give all current New York residents who have registered a vehicle during the past 2 years a $250 check. And they can use this to pay for increasing prices at the gas pump. Again, you can use it for anything. This is just kind of how they're relating it. It's because gas prices are high, inflation is high. Use it for whatever you want, but everything is high right now. It's just kind of their way of helping out, because people need help right now. All current residents who have registered a vehicle in New York State during the past 2 years would receive a $250 check through the State Energy Research and Development Authority, NYSERDA. Quote, with gas prices hitting record highs almost every week, it's crucial that New York State takes whatever action we can to help people who are getting squeezed at the pump. I have several more states here I'll get to here in just a second. It's just a lot of states, that want to give back right now, because who's kidding who? People are hurting right now. While the state can control the international factors that are contributing to rising oil prices, there are steps we can take to provide some relief. And a lot of states are pausing their gas taxes as well right now. The average price in the state of New York is $4.35, and the national average is 4.24. The average price of gas was 2.90 a year ago and was 3.80 in late February. The gas tax holiday was also included in the state's budget proposal, but it was not included in the state's assembly budget proposal. And again, I've said this before, it's much better to hand out direct payments, aka stimulus checks, than to do a gas tax holiday. Now, a gas tax holiday is better than nothing, better than nothing. So if your state pauses gas tax, that will save you money. Um, and it's hard to calculate that. It depends on how much gas you buy and stuff like that. Some states are pausing grocery taxes as well. Some states are reducing income taxes or pausing those or completely getting rid of them. We'll get to a couple more things like that. Some states are reducing taxes on seniors. All sorts of kind of different things here. Each state's doing different things. In fact, here's another one, a stimulus, a $75 tax rebate being sent to 25,000 Americans in Idaho. Will see a bit more money coming this way their tax season in the form of a stimulus tax rebate. State residents in Idaho who filed a 2020 and 2021 tax return will start to see a $75 tax rebate stimulus sent out this week. If you already filed your 2021 income tax return, the state emailed you letting you know if you were eligible. If you owed taxes, the money will be applied to that first, but hey, you'll owe $75 less. Payments are being processed right now. They're going out on a first come, first served basis. So if you were sent yours earlier, you'll see a payment earlier sooner. In total, 800,000 payments are expected to go out, but 25,000 payments will go out per week. So 800,000 payments actually total in Idaho. In the state of Idaho, all income tax returns are verified to not be fraud. If it's suspected to be fraud, the state will issue you a notice. Anyone receiving a paper check will see it after all other payments are issued. That's why I always recommend everybody get on electronic deposit. But to do that, you got to make sure you don't change your bank account, or if you do, you update it if possible. But I think 800,000 people in Idaho are going to be getting a $75 dollar tax rebate in Idaho. Again, it might not sound like a lot, but it's better than nothing, right? In the state of Georgia, the Georgia Senate just passed its version of tax relief, which was different than the House version of Georgia. Here's what happened here. The Georgia Senate overwhelmingly passed income tax legislation on April 1st with significant differences from a bill the state House adopted last month. It calls for gradually reducing Georgia's income tax rates from 5.75% to 4.99%. However, that lower rate would only apply to taxable income up to 20,000 in 2024, the first year the law would take effect. The lower rate would apply to the first 35,000 of taxable income in 2025 and to the first 55,000 of taxable income in 2026. The House bill would set the tax rate at a flat 5.25% for the vast majority of taxpayers effective in 2024. The Senate bill also triggers requiring state tax revenues to grow by at least 3% each year for tax reductions to continue. But Democratic lawmakers blasted the House bill last month, citing figures showing that 28% of Georgia taxpayers would not see a change in their tax bill, while actually 10% would pay more in taxes. However, the Senate bill contains a state level earned income tax credit that would benefit low income family legislative Democrats and some Republicans have supported. We don't want to have a flat tax increase on those who are low income. So they're going to have to come to a compromise. You have to pass the same bill in the House and the Senate. The state of Illinois Senate Democrats propose a $1 billion tax relief plan for the state of Illinois. A tax-free back-to-school shopping spree, tax rebates in the mail, which are checks, and respite, albeit pennies worth, from what would be otherwise a bump in the state's tax on gasoline are on the table. The proposal calls for all Illinois residents with incomes of $250,000 or less, 500,000 for joint filers. See, I think they could reduce that significantly. I mean, if you don't need to get a check if you're making 500, 250 to 500,000, but hey, I don't get to make the rules for each state, right? To receive rebates or checks of $100 each plus $50 each for up to 3 dependents. So a married couple could get $200 and $50 each, so could be a couple $100 here. Taxpayers would see checks automatically arrive this fall, roughly around the time voters would be casting their ballots for the November 8th election. They're going to get a little bit of criticism for that, just like Florida did. Illinois does continue to face a fiscal challenge of $140 billion in long-term pension debt. That's probably the reason why they can't give a lot more. So some states are not as rich as others. That's why you have to keep that in mind. $140 billion in long-term pension debt. That's a lot of debt. That's a lot of debt. The governor also called for a 1 year suspension of the state's 1% tax on groceries. And Democratic senators would limit that to 6 months from July through October. Both versions would also offer homeowners a one-time property tax rebate of up to 5% or up to $300. So there could be a $300 check, it looks like, for homeowners. So that could be an additional check in there, and would freeze the state's motor fuel tax at 39 cents a gallon. So could be a little bit of extra help there. The gas tax is otherwise set to increase to 41 or 42 cents an increase. A lot of states, have those. Other elements of this new plan called for permanent professional tax credits for teachers and volunteer first responders. Teachers could receive a tax credit of $250 for personal spending on classroom supplies, and emergency medical personnel and firefighters who volunteer at least 9 months would be offered $500 tax credits. That sounds like a good idea. Nebraska is going to be passing on aid likely to benefit renters in Omaha and Lincoln. Nebraska's most populated areas stand to gain more rent assistance funds, even as the governor declines to apply for additional federal aid that would be available to all Nebraskans. I hate when governors do that. Why do they do that? They don't want to help their residents? Who's the governor of Nebraska? Let me look this up here. The governor of Nebraska is Pete Ricketts from the Republican Party since 2015. I don't know why guys like this do this. And again, I'm not choosing sides or anything. I just looked this up on the fly because of the article. But no offense, if you don't want to take rent assistance that is literally free from the federal government, it doesn't cost your state a single dime. I don't understand. I mean, he's a part owner of the Major League Baseball's Chicago Cubs. So yeah, so here's the problem here. When you look at stuff, Pete Ricketts' net worth. He's worth between 45 and $50 million. So this is the problem here. When you see people that are worth 45 to $50 million, and you see things like this, that he declines to apply for additional federal aid that would be available for all Nebraskans for rent assistance. Do you see problems with this? This is the problem here. I feel so bad for low and middle low income and poor people, people on fixed income that have to deal with this. And it really doesn't matter if your governor is a Republican, a Democrat, an independent, or what party they're from. It is so sad, so sad. I mean, you let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I don't get it. I really don't get it. If you're a governor of a state, or if you're a president, or if you're a senator, or if you're a representative from the House of Representatives, you are elected to help your people. That includes all your people. If I was the governor, I'm from Ohio. So if I was the governor of Ohio, and if I was elected as the governor of Ohio or Nebraska or wherever, if I was elected as a senator, if I was elected as a representative, I'm elected to help all the people of my state, or if I'm elected, like Joe Manchin, if I'm elected as from West Virginia, but I'm a senator also for the country, you have to represent everybody. You can't turn down rent assistance for poor people. There's people that are living and dying every day, and this is money that has been allocated to help people that are literally being kicked out on the street in winter and could be dying because and you're worth $50 million, and you just can't. You got to be able to relate to people's problems. I mean, let me know if you disagree with me, but I just feel really bad for people that have to deal with governors like this. And I mean, if this is your governor and you see it differently, please let me know, because I mean, that's part of our world and our society, is that we can have different stuff, different point of views, and I fully welcome that. And it's not a Republican, not a Democrat thing, because I didn't even know who the governor was, and I didn't even know what party he was from, and I don't consider myself from either party. I literally looked it up on on the fly with you guys here. Um, and I don't consider I consider myself a realist, but I just don't understand why governors would turn down rent assistance for their people. They're supposed to be elected for to help all their people. So I mean, if you were the governor, I'm talking to every person watching the show right now. If you were the governor of your state, you got to run your state like a business, and also like a charity, because you got to help out people, and you also got to run it like you gotta wear a many hats, if you ever kind of heard that saying, right? So you got to go into it like a business, but you gotta just run a you gotta I don't know, you got to run it like a business. So me and my wife, we've ran several businesses in the past. We've ran an Amazon business. We've ran a limo and bus company. Where I literally had to go drive the buses and limos before. I've literally had to work on the cars before. I've had to go gas up the cars before. I've had to go wash the cars before. I've worked multiple jobs in my life. I literally started working when I was 14 years old. I've wore many hats before. If you're the governor, you got to do the same thing. If you're worth $50 million and you're the governor, you can't just be on your high horse and say, well, screw the people that are poor, kick them out. No help for them. None. You can't do that. It doesn't matter what party you're from. If there's help available for poor people, give them the help. Give them as much help as possible. Be a man of the people. And I know I'm picking on this one guy. I don't even remember what the guy's name was. I have to even bring it back up. The guy's name was Pete Ricketts, governor of Nebraska. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different governors, right? And they come and go. At any given year, a new governor could be in there, right? But if you're worth $50 million, you still got to think of the poor people in your state. You still got to think of the businesses in your state. You still got to think of the common man in your state. You still got to think of the unions in your state. Still got to think of everything. You still got to think of the taxes in your state. You got to think of, like I said, you got to wear many hats in your state. And this is where I can, consider myself not a Republican, not a Democrat, because again, if you're a governor in your state, guess what? Your state's probably 50% Democrat, 50% Republican. Your state's made up, somewhere around that. It might be a little bit left, a little bit right. Your state's made of a lot of businesses and a lot of employees, right? Now, I know a business isn't actually a person, right? But you got to think that there's businesses and then there's employees. You got to think that there's small businesses, there's owners, and then there's workers, there's people, there's truck drivers, there's all walks of life. You gotta cater to everybody. You can't just say, I hate truckers and don't help out the truckers. You can't say I hate businesses and never help out the businesses, because then businesses are gonna leave your state. You gotta you gotta try to cater to everybody and make it fair for everybody. And really, there's people that need more help. And in this case, it's the poor people. The poor people need more help. You got to be sympathetic to some people and to refuse money from the federal government. You can let me know your thoughts here, but that's part of my mission here on this channel, is to tell people about all these rent assistance, mortgage assistance, utility assistance programs that are available. Forbes did a recent article that said 90% of families don't claim this money because they simply don't know about it. And hopefully you do, because you watch my channel. But if you went to the average person on the street and said, hey, do you know you can claim rent assistance? Do you know you can claim mortgage assistance and utility assistance? The average person doesn't. Forbes did a study. 90% of people don't, because they simply don't know about it. And then you got some governors that are refusing it, right? But um, that's part of my mission here on this channel. Help advocate to get more stimulus, more help when needed, and also put the mission out there to let people know what is available. Because if it's already available, might as well be for whoever's watching here from our YouTube family, right? So I'll link you to some videos that shows you how to claim this money. It's already available in most states, most areas. So make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Click the subscribe button down below. It's completely free to do so. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. After subscribing, click the bell icon to get reminders when we go live with new videos. You can click on this top video here to watch my newest video next. This bottom video is how to apply for utility assistance. This top video over here is how to apply for rent assistance. You can get up to 12 months of your rent paid from the last stimulus package. And this bottom video here is how to apply for homeowners assistance. And all these videos show you how to find programs in your area, and they're completely free to do so. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.